So for more reaction and insight, it's a pleasure to welcome live from Washington, Dan Raviv, veteran of I-24 News and co-author of the book Spies Against Armageddon, Inside Israel's Secret Wars. Dan, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us once again on The Rundown. So Israel achieving some major successes in this fight against terror in recent days, and even in recent hours as well, not least of which, of course, the elimination of Hassan Nasrallah and others. What does the U.S. administration think of this targeted killing and the wider Israeli campaign against Hezbollah?
Benita, it's great to be with you. The fact is that the White House spokesman, Admiral John Kirby, said that the deaths of Nasrallah and the high command of Hezbollah, as he put it, is good for the region and good for the world. So you have the United States actually welcoming this military action. And that seems to be true, but the U.S. does not want an all-out war, something that would complicate the region and the world, might get U.S. forces involved just when an American election is coming soon on November 5th. So still the U.S. calls for restraint, but is happy about this attack. It's quite a contrast with the U.S. attitude about the continuing violence in Gaza, where the Biden administration feels that too many civilians have been killed and they want an end to the Gaza war, but through a deal that would free the hostages.
And Dan, there's obvious friction between the United States and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Is that changing? What is your sense right now?
Yeah, that's been true for a long time. Some of it's personal between Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu. I'd say no. I believe that the Biden White House, and that means in effect Vice President Kamala Harris, who's now the candidate for president, they don't really trust Netanyahu. There's been friction for a long time, but common interests are strong. The alliance is still strong. And so there is a hope here in the United States that after this war is over on all its fronts, whether it's Lebanon, Yemen, Gaza, frankly, that things simmer down with Iran, then the Democrats hope, if Harris is elected, that somehow the Netanyahu government in Israel will move towards something better, maybe some negotiations with Palestinians, if possible.
And Dan, how then would the U.S. policy be different if Donald Trump wins the U.S. election, as you say, just weeks away? What do you think?
Well, Trump is signaling that he will be more pro-Israel than the Democrats have been. We don't really know. Often his foreign policy is kind of made on the fly, whatever he sees at the moment. He has a strong gut instinct. Trump has been pointing out that he was a great president for Israel. Frankly, he let the Israelis do just about anything they wanted to do in the 4 years he was president. And he says, and he couples that with something that makes some American Jewish voters uncomfortable. Most Jewish voters are liberals. They don't really like Trump. And lately he's been saying, you should get your head examined if you don't vote for me because I'm good for Israel. And he also said that if he should lose, that Jewish voters would bear some of the blame. That has made some people uncomfortable. So I would say that Trump is broadly pro-Israel, but the details we really don't know.
And interesting, of course, that Jared Kushner, former White House senior advisor and, of course, son-in-law of Donald Trump, says Israel must be allowed to finish off Hezbollah, and he is also rejecting calls for a ceasefire. We watch all the latest developments. As always, appreciate your insights. Dan Raviv, live from Washington. Thank you so much.